Hello. Thank you for joining us for this presentation for the Fiscal Year 2023 Thrive Funding Overview and Guidelines. My name is Chuck Beard, and I am the Artist and Organizational Support Coordinator for Metro Arts. This presentation will cover both Category 1 and Category 2 of Thrive funding. Thrive Category 1 involves community-based art projects, and Thrive Category 2 is an artist incubator program. Both Category 1 and Category 2 Thrive grants have the same deadline to apply of August 29th, 2022. Let's start with some background information on what the Thrive program is. Thrive is a funding program that was set up outside of Metro Arts' traditional grant funding programs to open up funding opportunities to individuals and organizations that historically have not been eligible for a Metro Arts grant. Thrive is a funding program designed to build, strengthen, and cultivate communities in Nashville and Davidson County by supporting artist-led projects that encourage artistic and cultural experiences, community investment, and neighborhood transformation. Successful Thrive projects will promote artistic excellence, impact neighborhoods, actively engage residents in the planning and art-making process, promote cultural equity, and adhere to required public health and social distancing protocols. The Thrive program supports Metro Arts' overall outcomes of vibrant creative neighborhoods, stronger creative workers, and deeper cultural participation to lead us to the Metro Arts vision of a creative life for all Nashvillians. Let's get into some of the highlights from the Thrive guidelines. You can find the full guidelines at our website at metroartsnashville.com/thrive. If you have not done so already, we highly recommend you look through these guidelines, as the guidelines will detail everything you will need to know to submit a successful application and Thrive project. Please note the page numbers on the side of the slides. These are specific pages you can visit in the guidelines for more information. First, we will cover Category 1. The application deadline for Category 1 is August 29th, 2022. Category 1 has up to $9,500 in funding per project. These projects support artist-led, community-based art projects that include collaboration between artists and community partners and organizations. This is open to individual artists, artist teams, and organizations. All project activities must take place between January 1st, 2023 and June 15th, 2023. All projects must be completed and all funds expended by June 15th, 2023. Here are some general guidelines about Category 2, but we will also get into more details about Category 2 later. The projects of Category 2 have up to $5,000 per project. These projects support artists who are newer to community practice and/or Metro Arts funding and are looking to bring their artistic skills to their community. Open to individual artists or artist teams, and will prioritize artists who have not previously received Thrive funds. This must take place in the community between January 1st, 2023 and June 15th, 2023. Again, application is due August 29th, 2022. Now let's dive into a little more detail about Category 1 by looking at project eligibility. For a project to be eligible for Category 1, there needs to be collaboration between at least one professional artist and at least one community partner organization. The projects must serve a specific identified community or neighborhood, directly involve community members in the design and implementation of the project, be open to the public, accessible and welcoming to people of all cultural backgrounds, economic status, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, and abilities. And they must exhibit commitment to people who have been historically underrepresented in mainstream arts funding, discourse, leadership, and resource allocation, including but not limited to people of color, seniors, differently abled people, LGBTQI+ people, women, and the socio-economically disadvantaged. Projects that will be ineligible for Thrive Category 1 funding include projects being funded by any grant administered by Metro Arts, previously funded Thrive projects, or already completed projects or projects taking place outside of the project funding period. In the case of a project that is working with youth, please note that there are additional narrative questions in the application. The project must include experienced youth engagement practitioners or teaching artists, and background checks are required for all project staff working directly with youth or in youth settings. Please note, having an item come up in a background check does not automatically render the project ineligible for funding, but will require further review from Metro Arts. Please email me at chuck.beard@nashville.gov with questions regarding the background checks. Also, if the proposed project is a public art project, there are additional guidelines. First, Metro Arts defines public art as a temporary artwork that exists in a public space that is accessible to the general public, including privately owned property such as local business or organization. There will be additional questions as part of the application, and a photo of the proposed project site will be required. There must be a plan for long-term maintenance and/or removal of the artwork, and funds to support maintenance or removal demonstrated in the budget. If the artwork is on private property, a signed letter of support from the property owner is required at the time of the application submission. Please note that Thrive funds support the creation and maintenance of public artworks with a lifespan of no more than 18 months. Now we will move on to the eligibility guidelines for Category 1 Thrive applicants. Both individual artists and artist teams may apply. Applicant artists must be 18 years of age or older and must live or primarily work in Davidson County. Businesses and organizations include nonprofit and for-profit organizations and neighborhood groups located in Davidson County. Also, there must be a professional artist identified to lead the project. There are specific things that funds can and cannot be used for. First, we will start with things Thrive funds can be used for, which include artist fees, professional fees, project coordinator fees, and non-durable project program supplies. Funds for Thrive projects cannot be used for capital improvements, purchase of property or equipment purchases, reduction of debts, food or beverage, activities or programs with religious content, political lobbying activities, fundraising events, purchase of property, performance space, facility rental, marketing and promotion or durable program project supplies, items that will outlast the length of the project, public art project maintenance beyond 18 months after creation of the artwork. That concludes some of the details about Category 1 eligibility, and we're going to look at an overview of the application components and coming timeline. First, the application will be completed on Submittable. You can find the link to the application on our website at metroartsnashville.com/thrive. The application will include a budget form, a project timeline, artist supporting materials, artist resume or CV, a social distancing plan, one letter of recommendation, and if applicable, for a public arts project, a letter of support from a property owner and a photo of the proposed artwork site will be required. Here are some important dates for the application process for both Category 1 and Category 2. Applications for both categories are due on August 29, 2022. It's important to note that there is an optional pre-application consultation for Category 1 applicants that is required for all Category 2 applicants. The time frame for the consultation period is between July 25, 2022 and August 19, 2022. Whether or not you receive pre-application consultation, the initial eligibility review by Metro Arts staff will be August 29th through September 2nd, 2022. On September 28th and September 30th, we will hold community panel reviews and awards will be announced on October 21st, 2022. This concludes the information about Category 1 for the Thrive funding. Please review the Thrive guidelines thoroughly before submitting your application. The application, the guidelines, and any additional information all can be found on our website at metroartsnashville.com/thrive. On the last slide of this presentation, you will find my email address for your convenience and any other questions for me. Now we are switching gears to information regarding Category 2 of Fiscal Year 2023 for Thrive funding. To repeat some of the previous information in this slideshow and video, the application deadline is the same as Category 1 for August 29th, 2022, noon central. For Category 2 projects, there is up to $5,000 eligible per project. Category 2 projects will support artists who are newer to community practice and/or Metro Arts funding and are looking to bring their artistic skills to their community. Category 2 funding is open to both individual artists or artist teams and will prioritize artists who have not previously received Thrive funds in the past. These projects must take place in the community between January 1st, 2023 and June 15th, 2023. Remember, additional details about Category 2 can be found in the Thrive guidelines on our website at metroartsnashville.com/thrive. Category 2 projects must serve a specific identified community or neighborhood. They must directly involve community members in the design and implementation of the project. As stated on the previous slide, projects must be conducted in the community between January 1st, 2023 and June 15th, 2023. All projects must be open to the public, accessible and welcoming to people of all cultural backgrounds, economic status, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, and abilities. Projects must exhibit commitment to people who have been historically underrepresented in mainstream arts funding, discourse, leadership, and resource allocation, including but not limited to people of color, seniors, differently abled people, LGBTQI+ people, women, and the socioeconomically disadvantaged. Just as in Category 1, projects are ineligible for Category 2 funding if projects are being funded by any grant administered by Metro Arts, or if a previously funded Thrive project or projects, or is an already completed project taking place outside of the project funding period. As in the case for Category 1, there are additional guidelines for projects engaging with youth in Category 2. You can find more about this on page 7 of the Fiscal Year 2023 Thrive Guidelines. In the case of a project that is working with youth, please note that there are additional narrative questions in the application. The project must include experienced youth engagement practitioners or teaching artists, and background checks are required for all project staff working directly with youth or in youth settings. Please note, having an item come up in a background check does not automatically render the project ineligible for funding, but will require further review from Metro Arts. Please email me at chuck.beard@nashville.gov with questions regarding background checks. Similarly, there are additional guidelines for public arts projects. These are laid out in detail in the Thrive Guidelines and were touched on in the Category 1 section. It is important to note that in addition to the narrative questions in the application, there is also a required letter of support from the property owner, which must be submitted with the application. Remember that public art is defined as a temporary artwork that exists in a public space that is accessible to the general public, including privately owned properties such as local businesses or organizations. Now let's look at who is eligible for funding in Category 2. Both individual artists or artist teams are eligible. The applicant must be 18 years of age or older and must live or primarily work in Davidson County. Priority will be given to artists who have not been awarded Thrive funding or other Metro Arts funding in the past. The funding allowances are the same for Category 1 and Category 2, and be sure to look these over before submitting your application. You can find these on page 8 of the Thrive Guidelines 2023. Similarly, The funding restrictions are the same on Category 1 and Category 2. For a full list of things that Category 2 funding cannot be used for, you can find more information on page 9 of the Thrive Guidelines 2023. As mentioned before, here are some important dates for the application process for both Category 1 and Category 2. Applications for both categories are due on August 29, 2022. It's important to note that there is an optional pre-application consultation for Category 1 applicants that is required for all Category 2 applicants. The time frame for the consultation period is between July 25, 2022 and August 19, 2022. Whether or not you receive pre-application consultation, the initial eligibility review by Metro Arts staff will be August 29, 2022 through September 2, 2022. On September 28th through September 30th, 2022, we will hold community panel reviews and awards will be announced on October 21st, 2022. You can visit our website for more examples of recently funded Thrive projects. In the past, these projects have included virtual poetry, online improv, dance, art, and music classes, writing workshops, and virtual concerts. You can also see examples of billboard murals and many more creative ideas. You can find even more examples at metroartsnashville.com/thrive. Some special considerations when applying for Thrive funding include: have a backup plan for any social distancing requirement that may become necessary, think about what success looks like for the project and the community, and have a plan for managing the funding and communication with Metro Arts. For both Category 1 and Category 2, the application scoring rubric we'll be looking at includes artistic excellence, community engagement and placemaking, feasibility and logistics, and cultural equity. Applicants can earn up to 5 points in each of the 4 categories. Before we begin wrapping up, we will address some frequently asked questions. One question is, when are you anticipating projects in this round to begin? Our answer is both Category 1 and Category 2 projects should take place between January 1st, 2023 and June 15th, 2023. Another question is, I'm a past Thrive recipient. Can I propose a project that uses a similar model to a past project but serves a new community, engages new partnerships, and addresses issues specific to that community? Will this be different enough? The answer is yes. Another frequently asked question is, if we are applying as an organization, should we submit work samples from the lead artist or examples of work produced by our organization? Samples of artwork produced by our program participants? Our answer is either option is acceptable. Choose the work samples that make the best case for your organization to lead the project. Another question is, I received Thrive funding last fiscal year. Can I apply again this year? Our answer is yes. You are eligible to receive Thrive funding once per fiscal year. Thank you for joining us for this presentation for Fiscal Year 2023 Thrive funding. After you submit your application, be sure to check your email and voicemail throughout the initial eligibility and review by Metro Arts staff. Staff may contact you during this time for additional information. Again, for both Category 1 and Category 2, the initial eligibility review by Metro Arts staff will be between August 29th and September 2nd, 2022. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions that are not covered in the Thrive Guidelines document or on the website metroartsnashville.com/thrive. You can email me, Chuck Beard, the Artist and Organizational Support Coordinator, at chuck.beard@nashville.gov for further guidance. We look forward to reviewing your application for Fiscal Year 2023 Thrive. Thank you.